Hello there, what's going on everybody? Today I am bringing you the top 5 custom cards for the Star Wars Armada custom card contest. The winner of this contest gets a virtual high five, and that's about it, because this was just a for fun contest, but I'm going to be talking about the top 5 cards that I have chosen. The top 4 are in no particular order. I just had to arbitrarily number them because I really like all of them. Actually, I really like everything that was submitted. I want to thank everybody that submitted stuff. Also, if you are in the business of wanting to actually win stuff, I do have a new giveaway going on right now for a $25 Amazon gift card where you can get an expansion of your choice for whichever game you play. That is running for the next 2 weeks. All you have to do is be a subscriber and leave a comment to enter. Again, same rules as ever. There's more details on giveaways in Crabbok.com, so you can check that out as well. But yeah, we're going to talk about Armada. So why did I do this custom card contest? Basically, we're kind of in a lull. Armada is clearly being developed slower than the other games, so that means news is coming out slower, but it is coming. We know Adepticon is going to be some Armada news. They have definitely been teasing that, but they are not really giving us anything else, before that. And the funny thing is, Armada is hot right now. The game is growing at a pretty significant rate. The Squadron 1 packs just came back in stock, and they are on fire right now. Like, they sold out completely after being restocked within, I want to say, 3 hours. Somebody slap somebody. Well, don't actually slap anybody, but somebody tell someone at FFG, like, guys, this game is on fire. Stop pretending like people aren't in love with this game. All right, anybody. Let's go ahead and start looking at these cards because yeah, this game is fire, and these custom cards are just a great way to fill the gaps between releases to help you come up with some homebrew scenarios. I do have a nunchuck expansion on Crabbok.com as well under my content, as well as some custom stuff that I have created for like Deep Space Nine. It's just fun coming up with custom homebrew scenarios, things to spice up your games. Now with up to 1,200 point games, there's all kinds of little scenarios and things that you guys can do yourself, and custom cards is one way for you to enhance that. So without further ado, let's take a look at some of the top 5 cards. First up, we've got Counselor Rax, Gallius Rax from the Aftermath books, which weren't the most well-written books out there, but they were certainly interesting, and they definitely opened up a lot of space in what is going on in the aftermath of the Battle of Endor. Well, one guy that was behind the scenes of everything, effectively Palpatine's backup plan, right? His contingency plan was Gallius Rax, who kind of took the role of main antagonist, and yeah, it was a pretty bad dude. But here's a really cool Imperial commander, and this was submitted by Withercraft727 on my Discord. I have a lot of submissions on Discord. You can hop in my Discord if you want to take a look at all of the submissions. There is a separate area on there specifically for these submissions, and this one is pretty cool because it is a commander for the Empire. It's a little expensive, 35, but it says you may attack friendly ships, and when you destroy a friendly ship, you can gain a victory token. This is one of the things I love about this one, is it's clearly thinking outside of the box. There were a lot of submissions that wanted to just increase values of something, and this one just added a whole different dimension to the game. Very, very cool, but also at the same time, like a lot of these cards, there's pros and cons too, so I'm going to talk a little bit about that. With this one, it's very cool. I love that it's thinking outside the box. I love that it's giving you an alternate way to go, and it's also very thematic because it matches with Gallius Rax. He was all about, hey, let's blow up our own stuff, and then we'll really, we'll kill everybody, you and us. Like it was this grand plan. They would want to just kill everyone. Kind of insane, a little bit insane. So he's a little crazy, and that's why he wants to, he has no problem blowing up Imperial ships. So it's thematic, it's thinking outside the box, it's changing the game up significantly. Very, very, very cool. But I think this would require like a couple of pages of FAQ. I'm like, wait a second, if I blow up the ship, does then my opponent get the points like for killing it? How does that work? What if there's an objective that has no victory points? What does a victory token mean to me? So could it be that, I chose, I chose an objective that doesn't have points, and all of a sudden now the victory tokens from Gallius Rax don't do anything. So it needs a little more clarification on how it works. I'm sure there'd be a lot of questions on attacking friendly ships. However, it's still really cool, and I like where the design space is going with this guy. It's cool to see some outside thinking, outside the box ideas. Next up, Psych J7 submitted Vanden Willard here. Vanden Willard, I believe, is a Rebel Commander. There's no Rebel Commander symbol on there, but it's priced such as a Rebel Commander. During the ship phase, if you reveal a non-squadron command, you may gain a squadron token. If you reveal a squadron command, you may move non-rogue squadrons distance 2, even if they are engaged. So, some things I really like about this, you're using actual on-screen footage, which is very cool for the design process. Did leave out the commander symbol, but that's not really the end of the world. And it's addressing something that isn't really in the game, is like a dedicated Rebel Commander for squadrons. I mean, you have Sato, but he's not enhancing squadrons. He's only enhancing the ships that happen to be, a fleet that happens to have squadrons. He enhances the ships. So he needs squadrons, but he doesn't do anything to help the squadrons, whereas this one is helping the squadrons specifically. And so that's kind of cool. So I like the design space for this, and I like that it does two different things as well. Because like if you reveal a squadron command, you can get you can move stuff. If you don't reveal a squadron command, you can get a token. So it's always helping out stuff. But my guess that's the pros. The cons are, I think it might be a little cheap depending on how the second half is actually intended to work, because this one really needs a little more clarity. The first part makes sense. If you reveal a non-squadron command, you may gain a squadron token. I like the use of may in there. But for the second part, if you reveal a squadron command, which let's say you do, you may move non-rogue squadrons distance 2, even if they are engaged. I'm assuming this applies to your whole fleet. So let's say I've got 7 ships in my fleet. Each one of them reveals a squadron command. The way this is written, they get to move every single squadron on the board. Let's say I have no rogues. Let's say I've got 8 B-wings, let's say I have 8 B-wings. I think that fits. Okay, I get to move every single B-wing distance 2. It doesn't say at what range. It doesn't say how many I can move, right? And then the next ones can do it too. So basically, if I have like 5 or more activations, I can just have my B-wings fly across the entire map. That's a little broken. So I think it needs to have a limit of how many squadrons you can activate, and I think it has to have a range requirement too. Maybe 1 squadron at distance 1 of you can move, even if it's engaged. That seems a little more balanced, especially for 25 points, which is a little cheaper. And that may be the intent behind it, but that's not much of a criticism, because any card, if it were going to be actually approved, let's say this was actually going into production, it would be play tested and it would be refined, and like you start with the idea and then you refine it down to where it's balanced and works with everything else and doesn't break anything. So it's in a good space. It's just it's not refined yet. So I think that would be my feedback for something like this. But overall, really cool idea, fills a need where there wasn't something, and does 2 different things. So I like it. Next up is the Thunder Wasp, submitted by Valar Morghulis. And Valar Morghulis actually submitted a whole bunch of different cards, all 0-point cards. All of them don't do anything. You're probably laughing, why did this make top 5? Because it's adding flair to the game. It's just a title. To defeat an enemy, you must know them. Yeah, I love it, man. On the anniversary of Rebels, I was watching a lot of Star Wars Rebels clips today, and boy, when Thrawn was finally revealed in that trailer, chills, man, chills. So having Thrawn come back was great. But yeah, I love adding some fun to the game. If you think about it, every ship in your fleet probably has a name. Like if you wanted to role play just a little bit and kind of get involved and make it a little bit cinematic, because the game is totally a galactic epic space battle on your tabletop. Right? Why not make it why not put yourself into it a little bit and make it a little more meaningful, make it a little bit more narrative, right? Give every ship, more titles like this, more generic 0-point cards could totally make the game a lot more fun. You can just add a little more flair to your game. So this one is just, I love it. I love where his head was at here. This is just beautiful. doesn't have to be, not everything has to be like this amazing game breaking, decision on what abilities I was going to add. It's just, it's just fun. And there's a lot of points. I mean, fun is the name of the game, right? All right, next one is Nixon submitted Grand Admiral Crabbok. So, this one's just funny. So 20-point Imperial commander, so meant to be a cheap commander. There's not, not a whole lot of cheap commanders. The Empire does have Ozzel, but Ozzel doesn't do a whole lot, at least for me. Now, there are some builds in which he's very effective. I'm not going to deny that. But I like that this is doing something a little more practical that could work in a little bit more of a wider variety of lists without being overpowered. And it's actually, the ability's kind of weaker, but it's, an effectively priced card for something that's kind of weak. So at the start of the second and at the start of the fourth round, you may change one of your top command dials. It's just letting you change one dial across your whole fleet. At least that's how I read it, right? It's pretty good if you're running like a 2-ship list. It could be good if you're running a 4 or 5-ship list. If you just got one ship that you need to change the top command dial. It's potentially defense against slicer tools. It's also not overpowered. And it's something the Rebels have a little more ability to deal with, like, because they have cards like Leia and the Tanda V4 and stuff like that. It's just giving you a little bit of mitigation for either poorly made decisions or slicer tools or where something was changed. So I kind of like that. And the timing of the rounds is pretty good too. And plus, he's a really handsome looking guy. No, I'm kidding. All right, let's get to our actual winner. And this one is really cool. And this one was submitted on Facebook, actually, by Zachary Cantrell. This one is The Punisher. This one is a title for the Bellator. I will show you his Bellator here in a minute. He actually sent me a Bellator custom card too from Kuat Drive Yards. And again, you can make cards on Kuat Drive Yards. You can do them in Paint. You can do them in Photoshop. There's a lot of different ways that you can make cards. But definitely check out Kuat Drive Yards. They have so much stuff that people have already made. Plus, you can make your own stuff there, or just look at the stuff that's already been made. Very fun, very fun for any kind of homebrew scenario or campaign or anything that you're trying to just, have a little extra fun beyond that of just a standard game. So what I really like about this is this one is doing something really cool. So let me read it to you. During the spend defense tokens step, spend defense tokens as normal, then roll attack pool for the whole zone being attacked against the defender. The attacker cannot spend defense tokens during this attack. This is a title that lets you counterattack. And it lets you counterattack, basically. It's counter for a ship. What I love is I really think, and there's been some talk about this with some of the 2.0 discussion that's been going on, the game really needs some type of ship counter ability. And this is perfect for like a bigger ship, a huge class ship, something like a Super Star Destroyer, or in this case, a Bellator, which is going to eat up most of your list, and you're probably only going to have maybe 1 or 2 ships in your list. It's an expensive title because it's giving you a really tremendous ability. It's giving you the ability to counterattack. My criticism here is there should be maybe a cap on how many times you can do this. Maybe you have to exhaust the card to do it. So you choose when you're going to counterattack. I think that might be a little bit better, but especially if somebody's attacking your front hull zone, they're probably going to get hit with a tremendous amount of dice. And so people might deliberately avoid your front hull zone so they can go around to the backside. And plus, they're not able to respond to this counter, which is just really, really nasty. It's a potentially, I think, is a type of card that would need a lot of playtesting, because you might need to really just kind of refine if they can spend defense tokens, or do you roll your entire pool? Do you roll half your pool? What's balanced, or does it have to be the first attack, or can I choose when to do it? Because maybe if it has to be the first attack, now that could throw your plans off, and now maybe the other player has to deliberately want to lead with a weaker ship so that it chews up my counterattack. But now I have the advantage of forcing them to lead with a weaker ship, and so there's a whole lot of really cool mechanics that go along with ship counterattack, and I kind of like the way that it's implemented here. And so now the ship token, I'm going to show you the ship sent me as well. For the Bellator, this was, I believe, also made on Kuat drive yards, and this is just a 4-zone ship, because it is not quite as big as the Super Star Destroyer. This could work, but this is a lot of dice. But it's a 190 point ship, so it's very expensive. Kind of like, it may be a little strong for where it's at. Granted, the SSD has more defense. Well, no, has the same amount of defense tokens. The SSD has more hull. The SSD has more shields total because it's got 2 full extra zones, and I believe more upgrade slots. But it's pretty cool. It would be a fun thing to test out. Take one of these in a build against the Super Star Destroyer, see who comes out on top. But yeah, I kind of hope they do make a Bellator at some point, because the Bellator is in some of the alternate art, so I'm really hoping more huge ships are in the pipe. Very, very cool. So, on to what I have actually been inspired by all of these, and so I created a new card, and this one is actually one that you may be able to get. It is lightsaber nunchucks, and it is crooked. So, yeah, that's lovely. It doesn't want to show right side up, but it's basically my business card, right? Like I have a card that like when I work at cons, and my business card is on the other side. So this is the back of my business card. So it's basically a business card that you will be able to, like, it's like a promo and a business card all in one, because like for Star Wars Celebration, for example, I'll teach people a game and like, oh man, is there a place I can go to learn more? And like, well, here you go, So it's a great way for me to to network with people, but also at the same time, if you flip it over, it's also a promo on the back. So it says, attach this card to your commander. You may exhaust this card while defending. If you do, the attacker cannot take pleasure in this attack. You may smile for the rest of the round. So it's something you can spend. It's one of those fluff cards. It's something that you're just gonna say, all right. Especially, there's been so many games where I will say something like, somebody will be like, oh no, I rolled this accuracy and you can't spend that, so you just have to take all this damage. Or somebody hits you with Avenger. You're like, oh, I can't spend any of my defense tokens? Okay, no, fine. Well, I'm gonna do, I would joke around and say, I'll spend my take it like a champ token or whatever. When they're like, just because I like mentally, there's a little part of me that doesn't want to give up and just take the damage. I want to do something. So that kind of inspired this, but also the 0-point fluff cards kind of inspired this as well, just to have a little something fun that's not going to impact gameplay. It would be a fun little promo to have. That also kind of fits into the brand a little bit. So if you happen to run into me at a con, you may be able to get one of these for yourself. And they're going to have rounded corners too, because most business cards are full rectangles, but these are going to have rounded corners, and I should have these within about a week or so. If you run into me at, what cons am I going to be? I'm going to be at Star Wars Celebration. Can't make it to Adepticon, but should be at Dice Tower in July, and then Gen Con in August. So if you happen to bump into me, you might be able to get one of these for yourself. And that's about it for the custom card winners. I want to thank everybody who participated. You guys are awesome. There's been a lot of submissions, and you can continue to submit more cards just, in the Discord. It's a good place to just have some fun and submit your ideas and get some feedback. It's a lot of discussion going on, and like, hey, what about this? What about that? It'd be a lot of fun. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and as always,